Imagine a person standing under a huge stone dome in the center of Rome during the rainstorm. This is the Pantheon, an engineering marvel whose giant concrete vault has no supports. Water pours in through the oculus in the ceiling but does not flood the temple. It instantly disappears into ancient channels under the floor which have been working reliably for 19 centuries, demonstrating the sophistication of the drainage systems of the past. A civilization that built for forever. In cities across the world, concrete bridges show deep cracks before reaching middle age. Apartment towers require costly repairs within a generation. Parking garages collapse with little warning. Yet scattered across deserts, jungles, and coastlines stand structures that have endured for centuries, some for millennia, defying logic, weather, and even war. They weren't built with steel rebar, waterproof sealants, or computer modeling. Many weren't built with cement at all. At the heart of this mystery lies a sobering contradiction. For all our technological advancement, our buildings age faster than the ones created by civilizations with no electricity, no engines, and often no written blueprints. From the solid grace of the Pantheon's concrete dome to the seamless joints of Incan mountain fortresses, these ancient masterpieces challenge the myth that progress always moves forward. Our ancestors weren't just stacking stones, they were building ideas into matter, systems designed not to fight nature but to work alongside it. While today's builders race deadlines and cut costs, ancient engineers worked with a kind of patience we rarely afford ourselves. They observed water, wind, and tremors, then shaped structures that could absorb the blows of time. These buildings endure not because they resist the elements, but because they understand them. The physics of endurance. In the heart of Rome, the Pantheon stands as a colossal riddle. Rain pours through the oculus in its roof, yet the floor never floods. Invisible beneath visitors' feet lies an ancient drainage system still functioning flawlessly after nearly 2,000 years. Its concrete dome, the largest unreinforced of its kind, has outlasted every empire that rose and fell around it. This wasn't chance. It was engineering that married material with nature. Far across the ocean, high in the Andes, the Inca built fortresses like Sacsayhuaman, where the stones appear melted and molded rather than carved. Each block, some weighing over 100 tons, locks into its neighbors with such precision that not even a blade of grass fits between them. These were not decorative choices, they were seismic survival strategies. In a region plagued by earthquakes, Inca walls didn't break, they moved. The stones danced in place during tremors, absorbing shock through friction and mass, then settled back into position as if nothing had happened. In medieval Europe, engineers faced a different challenge: soft, soggy ground. And yet towering Gothic cathedrals still stand tall, anchored not by depth, but by distribution. Builders laid massive stone cushions beneath them, allowing the weight to spread out like snowshoes over mud. They crafted delicate-looking flying buttresses to carry forces away from thin stained glass walls, turning architecture into physics and art. And above all, they mastered the art of water. Gargoyles weren't just ornaments, they were spouts. Channels carved into every surface whisked rain away, protecting stone from rot and frostbite. To ancient builders, water was never an enemy. It was a force to be redirected, harnessed, and respected, just like gravity, just like time. Strange ingredients and sacred discipline. At the foot of the Great Wall of China, where wind and frost eat into the bones of modern buildings, an ancient mystery lingers between the bricks. When chemists examined the mortar holding these walls together, they found something unexpected: sticky rice porridge. Not just a trace, but a deliberate fusion of cooked rice and lime. Inside that humble grain lies a starch called amylopectin, which, when combined with mineral binders, creates a flexible internal mesh. The result? A mortar that didn't crumble under stress, but bent and absorbed it, surviving centuries of weather and war. Across the world in India, at Ellora, the Kailasa Temple rises not from assembled blocks, but from subtraction. Artisans carved it downward from a single basalt mountain, removing over 200,000 tons of volcanic stone without damaging the sculptures hidden inside. The entire temple is one unbroken monolith, immune to shifting foundations, erosion, and the weaknesses caused by seams or joins. It is less a building and more a sculpted mountain. Geometry and geology fused into permanence. But durability wasn't just about materials. It was a matter of ritual, discipline, and stakes. Legends from the Ming Dynasty describe inspectors testing every wall segment with hammers. If even the faintest wobble betrayed weakness, the mason could be exiled. In ancient Peru, stones had to lock so tightly that no wind could whistle through. In medieval Europe, craftsmen sometimes began work they would never live to see completed, trusting that their grandchildren would finish the vaults above. These weren't rushed projects, they were generational promises to posterity, to the land, and to the gods. Builders didn't treat stone as a thing to conquer, but as a living companion. And sometimes, their strangest choices, rice, monoliths, rituals, turned out to be their strongest. Concrete that heals itself. For years, scientists puzzled over tiny white fragments embedded in ancient Roman walls. These lime clasts, once dismissed as careless mixing, were thought to be imperfections, evidence that Roman builders hadn't fully blended their mortar. But in 2020, researchers from MIT and Harvard discovered something astonishing. Those clumps weren't mistakes, they were deliberate, and they were alive. The process is called hot mixing. Roman builders added quicklime directly to water and ash at high temperatures, triggering thermal reactions that produced reactive lime pockets throughout the concrete. Over centuries, when cracks formed, water would seep in and awaken those dormant particles. The lime would dissolve, react with the water, and recrystallize, filling in the gap. The concrete didn't just endure damage, it repaired itself quietly, chemically, and endlessly. Modern engineers now view this ancient method not as primitive, but as profoundly advanced. In fact, the principles of Roman hot-mixed concrete are being revived today to develop carbon-negative, self-healing alternatives to modern cement. Instead of embedding steel, an element destined to rust and split, researchers are rethinking the material itself, aiming for structures that adapt rather than decay. What's revolutionary isn't only the chemistry, it's the philosophy. Roman concrete didn't resist nature, it worked with it. Rainwater became a healing agent, cracks became triggers for repair, and it wasn't limited to land. In submerged Roman harbors, this same material hardened underwater, becoming stronger over time as saltwater fostered mineral growth within its matrix. Here, at the heart of ruins we thought we had fully understood, lies a modern blueprint. Our ancestors didn't build to survive centuries. They built to collaborate with them. The turning point isn't just what they made, it's what we're finally learning to see. From ancient ruins to Martian bases, thousands of years after Roman harbors were poured into the Mediterranean, their secret might launch humanity into space. When scientists examined lunar and Martian soil, they noticed something eerily familiar. Volcanic ash, strikingly similar in composition to the ash used by the Romans in their concrete. This resemblance sparked a radical idea. What if ancient engineering holds the key to building settlements beyond Earth? Transporting construction materials to the Moon or Mars is prohibitively expensive. Every kilogram launched costs a fortune, and traditional concrete isn't viable in such extreme environments. But Roman-style mixtures created from in-situ resources like ash and quicklime offer a tantalizing solution. These formulas can resist radiation, survive temperature extremes, and even heal themselves, just as they did in Rome's piers and temples. NASA and ESA researchers are now testing regolith-based concretes inspired by these ancient recipes. Instead of rebar and steel, they're looking at mineral self-reinforcement. Instead of fighting cosmic weather, they aim to mimic Roman durability, structures that adapt and harden over time. In a poetic twist, we may soon build future civilizations with the guidance of people who never saw a telescope. But this isn't nostalgia, it's necessity. In our pursuit of cutting-edge innovation, we've circled back to a truth that ancient engineers understood. Longevity isn't just about strength, it's about partnership with the elements. On alien soil, we may once again trust ash, water, and patience to protect life itself, what they knew that we forgot. When ancient builders shaped stone, they weren't just constructing homes or temples, they were participating in a dialogue with nature, listening, adjusting, and waiting. They observed how water pooled, how wind eroded, how stone fractured, and then designed systems that didn't challenge these forces but moved with them. Their structures breathed with the earth. In contrast, modern construction often begins with defiance. We flatten landscapes, cut corners, and chase efficiency. Our buildings rise fast, but they rarely endure. We've forgotten that true longevity isn't poured into foundations. It's grown over time, shaped by humility and respect for the materials themselves. Ancient engineers didn't just know how stone reacted to weight or heat, they sensed its temperament. Some Indian artisans reportedly listened to rock for hidden fractures before carving. In Gothic Europe, cathedral builders selected stones based on season, understanding how expansion and moisture could warp their work. Their genius wasn't in magical ingredients, it was in patience. They could spend decades on a foundation. They let the earth speak before they answered. And today, as our structures falter, we're rediscovering what they always knew, that endurance is a form of wisdom. The ancients didn't rush, and their walls still stand. As we build for the future, from rising seas to distant planets, their forgotten wisdom returns. If this story changed how you see the past, subscribe for more untold truths that shape tomorrow, and share it, because wisdom this old deserves to be remembered.